cheating hearts and meddling kin. We talk it all, let healing begin.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monique's chat room. It's been a little while. I haven't dropped any video in the past about over a week now. It's been so busy for me. So yeah, but I'm back. My videos are gonna be dropping once or twice a week now because I'm quite busy at the moment. But yeah, I'm still gonna be here in my chat room, talking about all these issues. But did you know that negativity is an entity? Now, this is me, this is how I see it. It can, in a relationship, it can become an entity when there are different negative behaviors that give birth to negative reactions, negative response. To the point that you can no longer pinpoint a particular problem. It becomes complicated. That's when I call it an entity. So looking at the factors that brings about negativity in a relationship, whether it's a long-term relationship or a marriage. We look at things like unmet needs, lack of appreciation, a lack of autonomy. When one person is so controlling, like I will get into that when I do that video. Then projection of past trauma. So this is referring to when people are not healed and they move on to other relationships. So I will talk about it in another video because there's quite a few things to unpack on that topic. And then poor communication or lack of communication. So these are the major things that bring about negativity, that fuels negativity in a relationship. But today I'm going to be looking at communication. Now, communication is useful when it's healthy, when it's effective. So what are the things that needs to be in a communication for it to be healthy? Things like you talking, paying attention to your partner when they are talking to you or voicing their concerns, seeing their own perspective, acknowledging what they're saying to you, having empathy, putting yourself in the person's shoes and trying to understand how they're feeling. Also paying attention to their non-verbal communication, like their cues, having a clear goal when you are voicing out your concern, or when you are communicating with your partner. Having focusing on body language, like I mentioned before, what is their body saying, paying attention. And the person who is also communicating, also pay attention to your body language so that you don't get misunderstood. And having a safe space. Now, safe space is not just like a physical space, it's like feeling like you can be open to the person you're talking to your partner, to your husband, or to your wife. So these are the things that make up the healthy communication, effective communication in a relationship. Now, I want us to go into the medical aspect of this. Okay, so when communication is poor or is lacking in a relationship, it triggers certain things in the brain, and the body begins to release certain hormones. We all know about the oxytocin or the love hormone. We know about the dopamine. Dopamine is also another hormone that the body releases when there's reward, there's pleasure, there's pleasure in a relationship, you feel rewarded, oxytocin, you feel happy, it encourages bonding. So those things, it does good to your body. That's why you notice when people maybe get married initially or start a relationship where everything is hunky-dory at that point, you notice the person is glowing. uh these are the hormones that are contributing to that glow. Is But when the communication is not there or is quite poor, then the release of dopamine goes down, and then you get the feeling of withdrawal. The person starts feeling sad and feeling the feeling of loss and withdrawal. Those things have counter effect on the body. You have cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. When you feel like you can't get through your partner, you're trying to talk to them, they're not listening, or um, they are just there, that they're not, they're just physically there letting you talk, but they're not paying attention, or they're not even letting you talk and they shout you down and things like that. That triggers the body to release a hormone called cortisol, and that is basically the stress hormone. And all those things causes a negative reaction to the body, causing you know, making the skin look wrinkly over time. You're feeling sad, you're unhappy, the glow disappears because this person is now stressed all the time. There's also a hormone called vasopressin. Now, this is also another hormone that is triggered when the communication between partners or couples becomes very poor. So again, when cortisol is released, there's stress, and then it triggers this vasopressin, is another hormone to be released, and the bonding is no longer there. There is it can lead to anxiety. When that person is around you, maybe you can't say anything right, you can't do anything right, they're becoming picky. The hormones are released in your body, this vasopressin, you begin to feel anxious around that person. Socially, your behavior changes, not for the better. Maybe you're being suspicious of your partner, but they're not actually doing anything, and then you end up triggering this cortisol or vasopressin hormone, and start internally breaking down your body because of the effect of these hormones to our skin and to us as human beings. So, ladies, we just want to just not, just showing that you're unhappy, but you're not actually saying what the problem is. That can be frustrating as well. You need to be open in the way you talk so that your partner can actually understand where you're coming from and what it is that is the problem, so that if it's something that can explain and clear your doubt, or make you understand what the real picture is, they can actually do that. They're not going to be able to explain anything to you if you are not being open. Partners should feel, if you have like a loving approach, we all have different personalities, but these are things that will always work, as I've learned over the years. When you have a loving approach, I think it's easier to get through someone that way, rather than being angry all the time, or lashing at the person, or jumping into conclusions and just reacting rather than responding. So don't bottle things up, because in a marriage, in a relationship, if you bottle things up, one day it's gonna blow up, and you may not be able to control what you say or control the outcome of your outburst on the day. So it's good to have a talk in order to avoid negativity in your relationship. So ensure that you communicate in a clear way, in a with you following a loving approach. Being clear in what it is that is your concern. As listener, need to acknowledge what your partner is saying. Don't try to block her off or block him off and try to dismiss what they're saying immediately or start getting defensive or anything like that. Acknowledge what they're saying, have empathy, meaning, try to feel what they're feeling by putting yourself in their shoes. If you were in their position, will you feel the same way they're feeling? Will you think the same thing they're thinking? Rather than just being defensive and just blocking them off, pay attention to what they're saying and be open to each other. And for even both for the person who's being communicated to and the person who is receiving the information, everyone should, both parties should pay attention to their body language. Because if you have a body language like someone is talking to you and you're crossing your finger and you're leaning back and watching them like that, it doesn't really show that you're acknowledging and receiving what they're saying. However, talking about body language, culture also comes into it. One body language in one culture can mean one position in one culture can have a different interpretation in body language than from another culture. So also think about where people come from, how or where people are raised and how they do things before you begin to interpret things so that you don't get it wrong and make the matter worse. Okay, so this is all I have to say to you for today in Monique's chat room. I will talk to you again in few days. Please keep tuning in because, as I told you, this channel, we're going to be talking about divorce a lot and things that lead to it. There are other aspect of things like medical aspect of things whenever relevant. Yeah, so if you are having a problem in your relationship, pay attention to some of these things. Look into what is happening. Maybe there will be a way to resolve it. Deeper things are coming on this channel, so keep tuning in. Thank you for coming to listen to me today in Monique's chat room. I'll speak to you in a few days. Bye-bye.
Real life, real talk at your pace. Monique's Truly, your safe space. Real life, real talk at your pace. Monique's Truly, your safe space. Real life, real talk at your pace.